Hi and welcome. My name is Julianne Cost, and in the next few minutes we're going to take a look at some of the more advanced features in the book module. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is adding a background. So let's go ahead and scroll down here to this double page spread, and I want to see it a little bit larger, so I'll use the keyboard shortcut Command R, Control R to see the double page spread. Now, I do like the fact that there's a photo here, but what I would like is I would like to have a photo that spans the entire page, and then I just want the text to kind of overlay on top of that, and I would like the photo to be screened back. So the easiest way to do this would be to scroll down to the background panel. You'll notice that I can apply a background globally. So if I wanted, say, a light gray to be the background on all of my pages, I would click this on and then select that light gray as my background color by clicking on the color swatch here. But what I'd prefer to do in this scenario is actually drag a photo into this area, which will apply that photo at a lower opacity to the page. So all I need to do is select the photo that I want, and in this case, let's go ahead and pick this scene and drag and drop that right there. Now, I no longer need the pigeon here, so let's delete that, and you can see that I can see through to that background layer. Now, one thing that might happen when you're working with your book is if you have your guides turned on, you might see this gray area because it's showing you where the photo cell is on that page. So you can simply turn off your guides by clicking here or by using the keyboard shortcut Command-Shift-G to toggle those all on and off at once. So that's a really nice way to create a background of a screened image. And of course you could do this manually, right? I could make a virtual copy of an image if I wanted to, take that into the develop module and use my curve in order to screen back the image and bring back that photo and just use a template that has text as well as the spread, but this is kind of a quicker option, I think, in my opinion. The other thing that we need to talk about is we need to talk about favorites. So let's zoom back out here and let's go to our page panel. Now, I think as you start creating books, there are going to be certain templates that you're going to use more often than other ones. So in order to add a template to your favorite, you'll want to use the disclosure triangle here. But now you're not going to want to click on any of these, right? Because if I click on these and I have a page selected, it's going to change the template. If I don't have any pages selected, it will add a new page. But what I would do is I would navigate to the one that I want. Let's say, for example, I like this one right here. If I want to make that a favorite, I would right mouse click and add this layout to my favorites. Then those favorites appear up here in your favorite panel. So now you don't have to scroll through as many layouts. If you wanted to remove a layout from your favorites, you just right mouse click and remove the layout from the favorites. Again, don't click on it, right mouse click, or if you're on the Mac, you can control click to remove that from your favorites. So that's going to be really helpful when you're applying different templates to your images while you're here in this view. But don't forget, when we first started creating our book, when we went to auto layout and we changed our preset, one of the options up here was to select random from favorites. So, my first book layout was extremely tidy. I had, two verticals or two horizontals together right after one another. But if you want to kind of mix it up a little bit, you can go ahead and select random from favorites and then choose the number of photos, because maybe you just want it to randomize between all of your favorites that have one image per layout or two images per layout. And of course you can add multiple ones to make it a little bit more varied. What you don't want to do is you don't want to add like the option for 4 if you don't actually have any favorites that include 4 images in a single layout. Otherwise you'll get an error message. So just make sure that you have layouts for the number of photos that you check. All right, let's cancel out of here. I want to talk a little bit about making changes in the develop module. So let's select this image right here, and I'm going to tap the D key in order to go to the develop module. And it just so happens that all 4 of the images that are next to each other on the page are next to each other on the film strip. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select all of the images in my film strip, and I'll turn on auto sync. And then we'll come over here to my presets, and I have a few presets for a single color split toning. So let's make sure that they're all black and white first by clicking on that preset, and then I'll use my sepia tone. And because I have auto sync turned on, that preset has now been applied to all 4 of those images. Now I will remember to turn off auto sync so that the next time I come in the develop module I don't accidentally do something that I don't want to do. But my point here is that when we return back to the book module, you'll notice that all of those images have been updated. So this is a great thing, but you really do have to kind of pay attention to it. For example, on page 1, you'll notice that these 2 images have a different crop. And that's because I cropped this image for another demo that I was doing on the soft proofing in the develop module. Because I changed the crop of the original, and that original image was in my book collection, when I made my collection, it of course obeyed the crop that I had told it to crop to. So I'm going to select this image, tap the R key in order to go right back to the develop module and give me the crop tool, and I'm going to change the aspect ratio back to the original. Then of course I can modify this crop. What I'm looking for is just to make sure that it's at the same aspect ratio as all of the other images in my film strip down here, so that when we go back to the book module, those 2 images now look the same. Of course, if I wanted 2 different crops, one for the develop module demo and one for my book demo, all I would have to do is create a virtual copy, and then I could use the virtual copy in my book module with a different crop aspect ratio. So pretty easy to solve. All right, now I know that some people are going to want to create their own templates, so I just want to show you a quick workaround. I'm going to scoot over to the print module for a minute, because what I discovered was there wasn't a template for what I wanted, and what I wanted was I wanted a layout that just had 9 images in it, and there isn't one. So if we just quickly select, say, 9 images here, you can see that what I've done is I've used the layout style of just a single image contact sheet. I've gone to layout, and I've changed the page grid so that there's 3 rows and 3 columns. There's a little bit of vertical spacing in between them. And then down here in the print job, I've set it up so that I'm not printing to a printer, but instead I'm printing to a JPEG file. That way I can fill any of these templates with any of the images that I want, print it to a JPEG, import that JPEG back into Lightroom, and just use that JPEG as a single image in my book. Likewise, I'm not stuck with just using the single image contact sheet. You can see here I have another template that has 4 images, and I could simply drag and drop my images into this template in any order that I want to. In fact, I can come down here to my page. I could even add a background color if I wanted to. And that little grid there is just my grids and guides showing, so we can turn that off. Obviously, that wouldn't print. But again, I could go down to my print job and print this out as a JPEG. And I was paying attention when I was first creating these templates, so you'll notice right down here that for the custom file dimensions, I've made these 12 by 12 inches. So the biggest book that you can print currently in the book module is 12 by 12 inches. So I know that I could use this for the 12 by 12 or the 7 by 7 because I'm exporting it out at 300 pixels per inch. So really you actually have a lot of flexibility, right? Because I think you guys know that, you can change any of the cells here, you can move them around, you can overlap them, you could right mouse click and send them back and forward. So tons of flexibility here, but that did just remind me of a question that I got regarding resolution. So the last thing that I want to show you, I'm just going to go back here to the library module, and I'm going to select another book that I created called The Red Thread, because I want to show you that in this case, let's look at all of the images, you'll notice that a lot of these images have this exclamation mark. So that tells me that the resolution of that photo isn't really up to par with what should be printed to blurb. And in fact, if you click on that warning, it will tell you that it's going to print at 155 ppi, but the recommended resolution is 200 ppi. So it's just a warning. And honestly, I printed the book anyway, and I absolutely love the book. And not only did I print the book to blurb, but you can see here that I also printed the book to PDF. And so now what I've done is I've just dragged it onto my tablet using the Acrobat Reader, and I can go ahead and look at that book not only in my printed copy, but also on my tablet device. Excellent. My name's Julianne Cost. Thanks for joining me.